We're managing like 20 accounts now. We've created more than 200 Amazons. We've used Ecom Sniper to generate like hundreds of thousands in sales. We're here to help you guys all make more money, right?
I have one account which I've been getting good consistent sales about 15 plus per month.
Well, hey everyone, was good? Hope you guys all had a great freaking week and hope you've been having a good weekend. Today's meeting, right, is going to be led by yours truly, me, Jonathan, right? Caleb and Theo, our man, boss man T. And like, yeah, between the three of us, we're managing like 20 accounts now. We've created more than 200 Amazons. We've used Ecom Sniper to generate like hundreds of thousands in sales, and revenue. So basically, we're here to help you, right, for free, right? And to help as many of you as possible, especially the newer guys, right? We don't want anyone to be shy. We're here to help you guys all make more money, right? Plain and simple. And to do that, we're basically gonna kind of go through each person, ask several primer questions to just help get a great idea of where you're at. And then we're gonna try to help you just as efficiently as we can to give you like clarity on what you need to do for this next week to kind of push your goals forward. So if like any of you want to go, please just raise your hands and we'll get to you like as soon as possible. And if you have any questions throughout, just you can leave a message, but definitely speak up and raise your hand because we want to help you and we have a lot of experience. So I definitely think we're in a good position to do just that. So I also want to let you all know that we're going to be aiming for like a time limit of like 3 hours for today's meeting. So just keep that in mind as well. We're just going to be trying to move through, help as many people as possible because obviously our time is also valuable. So definitely raise your hands and we'll move to you as soon as possible, man. So excited to get started. So yeah, we'll move straight to Waze. How have you been, Waze?
Hi, Jonathan. How have you been, bro? Been good.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So kind of I want you to walk us kind of through the update and also kind of focus like on like what kind of like what the biggest thing is right now that is stopping you from like scaling your business, right? And kind of reaching the goals you've set for yourself, you know?
Okay, so yeah, hi, my name is Wise. I've been using Ecom Sniper for more than like 7 months now. I started in October. I have one account which I've been getting good consistent sales about 15 plus per month. And now the thing I'm facing issue is creating new accounts like Ibrahim was saying. When I joined late, I couldn't hear what he was saying. But that's the main thing right now of creating new accounts and scaling. And my issue right now is that I'm not in the States at the moment. I'm at I'm in my home country. So I'll have my cousin be setting up accounts there.
Right.
So my question regarding account creation was how do you like go about like setting up that first account? So like because I asked Ray about this too, and he's like, most likely the second account is like the hardest and it'll get banned. And I want to ask you because he said like Jonathan has a lot of knowledge on this as well of how to like go step by step. If I'm not repeating myself.
No,
Yeah.
it's pretty much like we just spoke about before previously. You would just make a buyer's account, buy two things to yourself, kind of like you would do with Amazon. There's less risk and
On a computer,
ex-
right?
no, on a phone. You
On
do
a
it
phone.
on,
Okay,
yeah, you do it on a phone.
got
Um,
it.
Mobile data, everything. Same way you would do like the first, and you'd multiply that as the accounts go on. But yeah, you'd set up a buyer's account,
Okay.
put some time in between from when you buy the items and just let it sit, kind of thing. And then eventually, 2 weeks later, um 'cause they don't ask for ID and all that crazy stuff when you're just making a buyer's account. Once you would go and switch it to the seller's account. But the whole thing is internally, there's a process of as soon as you make a seller's account and then you start posting stuff and doing stuff too fast, it scares eBay and you get flagged. You know what I mean? There's something internally that goes off and flags them.
Nice.
So
Got it.
you have to avoid that, Like I said, you would just pretty much make a buyer's account, let it sit for 2 weeks or more, and then slowly start buy like maybe like the $5 store package, fully build up everything, make it look like you're like, you're doing everything super legit. Build your full brand first on the eBay store. eBay sees that and they're like, this guy built his store before he even posted an item. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's like
And
just a
that's
$5
personal.
cheap. Yeah, you know,
Right.
you buy it. Yeah, you start it as a personal seller's account. Don't instantly
Mhm.
switch it to business. You know, like I said, you want to slowly warm up and put your foot in the door. Buy like the $5 eBay starter subscription. Fully build your store before you even post anything. Um, you know, a lot of people don't take that into account too. You know, I already have my brand before I set up and list anything. You know,
Yeah,
that definitely helps. You know, because like I said, it looks less sketchy to eBay.
got it. And when you're signing up for your seller's account, do you I know me and Jonathan talked about this a couple months ago, but like regarding your information, do you put your information
Yeah.
accurate or do you
So
change it a little?
the way we're gonna do this is you're basically gonna have your cousin use the phone, right? Use
Uh-huh.
mobile data, right? Ideally, there's never been an eBay account on that phone before. If there has, it's best to reset the phone. So you have
Okay.
basically a fresh phone, you reset it, you're using mobile data, and you're going to create a buyer account. So not a seller's account because those are bringing up a lot more scrutiny nowadays, a bit harder to make.
Okay.
So you're going to start as a buyer's account. You're going to use status change, but there's much less information you need to add. They don't ask for bank and all this other stuff when you're just trying to buy.
Okay.
So you're essentially going to start as a buyer, right? And like
Hmm.
Theo just said, you're going to essentially space out a few purchases as your warm-up phase, your initial warm-up phase. And then after a few weeks, after you've purchased several items, you'll switch over to a seller, switch over to selling a few things from around your house, right? And then it's the same thing where like you're adding the eBay label. Um, you want to add eBay,
Yeah.
and then you're
Yeah.
starting to drop ship after that. So.
And also when you first create the personal account, let's say you want to switch to business later on, would you add your business account at the beginning or would you add it later on? Wouldn't that flag the account if you add it later on? Change the business account.
Well, I mean, Caleb, how's it been for you?
But you said turning the eBay account to a business account?
No,
No, no,
it
like
won't flag you. So I had started I think it was my second, third, fourth, I don't know which account it was. One of them though. I had started and I just literally started as a personal, I think personal seller's account. Um, Left it like that for just like a month, you know. I didn't even do any book warm-ups or anything. It just, I mean, that's not recommended, obviously, you know, you always want to look as normal of a person to eBay as possible. But you know, it's like when I was starting that account, it's just like I pretty much just let it sit. You know, eventually it was good, and then that's
Well,
pretty much it.
what, what you have to understand about when it comes to the business account and you selling as a regular person is for 2 decades, eBay has always give people account as a sole prop. No one was barely turning an eBay account into a business account for like
Hmm.
2 decades. So that was not a thing until very, very recently. Meaning, their system still have that as recognition. When you start an account, most likely you're gonna do it as a sole prop. The idea of turning it into a business account, it's only two things it does for you. One, it gives you a higher limit because now they're looking at it as an enterprise, and two, the business now responsible for the taxes. These are the only two major things. Turning an eBay account into a business account. These are only two things it gives you. But those two things are major for us because we want to be in control of the taxes, obviously, and also we want higher limits to be able to list more stuff. Besides
eh,
that, there's not any other real big things there.